We thank you for this meeting. And Father, we just ask God that everything just go decently in order, Lord God. We pray, God, for your guidance and for your leadership. We just ask, God, that you edify and glorify in everything that is said and done here tonight. We just ask these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Chief, your flag, or did I see a flag in the court? Where was it?
There's flag in the court and in the chief's office. We got dual flags.
Okay, let's start with a pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Right now, I would like to consider a motion to temporarily adjourn City Council's regular meeting and open a hearing on the liquor license applications for 236 East Lincoln Highway. Can I get a motion?
I make that motion.
I'm sorry.
I make that
I'll
motion.
make that motion.
I'll second.
Elaine, are you ready? Okay.
Hang on one second. We got to poll council.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. First, are there questions or comments regarding what we're about to do? Seeing as there's none, Mr. Logan, please poll council.
Councilman Simpson,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt. Is she on?
She's on there.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't poll me.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Alameen.
Yes.
Thank you. 7-0 carries.
Thank you. Mr. Verway?
Madam President, just to open the meeting. This is a public hearing to receive comments and recommendations of interested individuals residing within the city concerning the intent of 236 East Lincoln Highway LLC, doing business as Andrea's Jazz Cafe, to acquire an economic development license from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board regarding the property located at 236 East Lincoln Highway, Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Before we begin tonight, we have two exhibits that will be entered into evidence. The first is a letter dated January 24th, 2020, from attorney Skip Bryan to City Manager James Logan, requesting that this hearing be held. Exhibit B are the notices of hearing published in the Daily Local News on January 20th, 2021, January 29th, 2021. Those are the only exhibits for the council. And I would ask Mr. Gill if he would wish to make a presentation at this time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Verway, members of council, Mr. Logan, and members of the public. My name is Michael Gill. I am an attorney with the law firm Buckley, Bryan, McGuire, and Morris in Westchester, and we have the very distinct pleasure of representing 236 East Lincoln Highway LLC, which I'm going to refer to throughout our discussion tonight as Andrea's Jazz Cafe, because that is the business name under which that LLC will be operating for all purposes that we're here to talk about this evening. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce Dennis Dantzler and Bridget Dudley, who are on Zoom with us this evening. I think everybody on council knows Mr. Dantzler and Ms. Dudley. Bridget and Dennis, do you just want to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Good evening.
Happy New Year. Good evening.
Good evening.
Dennis is the sole member of 236 East Lincoln Highway LLC, and Bridget will be operating as a manager of Andrea's Jazz Cafe during the period of operation that we're here to talk with you about this evening. I'm going to be ever so brief because there was a presentation that was made to council back in December, and a lot of the information, I dare say, 99.9% of the information that council received back in December is the relevant information for this hearing. But let me just run through for the benefit of everybody and perhaps members of the public who weren't present at the December meeting. Mr. Dantzler is a Coatesville native and a resident of the city, and as is Ms. Dudley, obviously. And their proposal is to renovate and rehabilitate the property at 236 East Lincoln Highway for use as Andrea's Jazz Cafe. And that's going to be a live music and entertainment venue with food service. The purpose of our hearing here this evening is to request municipal approval under the Pennsylvania Liquor Code for a resolution that will allow Andrea's to make application to the LCB for an economic development license. I know that City Council is familiar with that process. Obviously, there have been a number of applications that have come before Council in the past few years for similar, if not identical, proceedings. We sent over to the city earlier this afternoon a packet of exhibits that is composed of 5 separate documents. I'll just identify those here. The first is, and if I have the ability to share my screen, I can bring those up on the screen for everybody to see. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let me just run through these exhibits. The first is an aerial photograph of downtown Coatesville. Unfortunately, it's oriented vertically here instead of horizontally. But right here, this arrow is where 236 East Lincoln Highway is located. And I wanted to identify it in context, not simply as part of that block in downtown Coatesville, but to give it its central location relative to a lot of the other economic redevelopment activity that's going on in the city and will be happening in the city over the next several years. The second document is Exhibit A2. It's made up of several pages, and that is the presentation that was delivered to council back in December for that meeting back in the end of last year. That presentation included a floor plan, but there is a revised floor plan, which we've marked as Exhibit A3. And I'm going to ask Bridget to comment briefly on the differences in floor plan between what was handed to City Council in December and the new floor plan. These are very, very minor changes that Bridget will be able to touch on. Then Exhibit 4 is a sample menu that Bridget put together for the food which will be served at Andrea's Jazz Cafe. This isn't meant to be exclusive. It's not meant to be, sort of locked in stone, if you will, but it's not meant to, but it is meant to give a flavor, so to speak, of the type of food, this American Creole cuisine, which will be served at Andrea's. And then 5 is a letter of support for the application from Gary Smith, who we all know over at the Economic Development Council. The facility will have, and let me just double back to that floor plan. The facility will have between 55 and 60 seats. It will include a venue for live music on stage, and it will serve the type of food that I mentioned earlier. This is about a 1,500 square foot space that is presently being renovated and rehabilitated by Dennis and Bridget. And I'm assuming that everybody on City Council is aware of that activity and what's going on over there right now in anticipation of being able to obtain this economic development license and ultimately open up the cafe. The plan is to have that cafe open as soon as possible. I know that if you were to ask Dennis and Bridget, when do you want to be open? They would say if the LCB were to issue the license on February 9th, they would be open on February 10th. Maybe I'm pushing that a little bit, guys. But I think what you would hear is we are ready to roll. This is an operation. This is a business which is gearing up right now in anticipation of being able to open to the public as soon as all of the regulatory approvals necessary to do that are in place. We are ready to start bringing economic activity to this location, and then the foot traffic that will come with that, and then in conjunction with everything else good that's happening in the city of Coatesville right now, to be able to be a part of that catalyst of economic activity. I'm the solicitor along with my partner, Ms. Camp, for the Borough of Westchester. So we know that there are sometimes questions about what are the hours of operation going to be for a licensed establishment. That's outlined in the presentation for December, but I just want to stop and focus on it here. The hours of operation presently planned are Wednesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then occasionally about one time per month, there would be a Sunday brunch. The activities that are going to be happening here, as I said, are live music, jam sessions, live poetry readings, everything that you would expect to see in a top flight jazz cafe. I know that Bridget and Dennis have great confidence in the economic viability of this model. They wouldn't be doing this if they didn't. And I know that there is a high degree of confidence that they'll be able to start to deliver on those economic benefits, like I said, as soon as they're able to clear all of these regulatory hurdles and get the doors open to the public. There will be approximately 13 employees to start, and Bridget and Dennis have mentioned that the intent is to have at least 50% of the employee complement coming from the city of Coatesville itself. So rather than have a long drawn out presentation and question and answer for Bridget and Dennis, we thought it was best to give you that overview and then see if any members of council have any questions for Dennis and Bridget. Again, I want to be clear that Dennis is the member of 236 East Lincoln Highway LLC. That's the business entity that's going to apply for the license and operate Andrea's. And then Bridget is going to serve as the manager at Andrea's once it's open. So with that as background, I think it most appropriate to see if anybody has any questions. And then again, Bridget, I just would like for you to touch on the floor plan and see if you can point out the differences here between what we're showing here on Exhibit 3 and what you showed to council back in December.
Certainly. The primary difference with respect to the initial exhibit and the current revised rendition is that we needed to have a way for individuals who dine outdoor in the rear to be able to have access to the bathrooms. So in doing that, we had to reconfigure the two handicap accessible bathrooms, put them together before they were spaced with the hallway that would lead into the kitchen. Well, we've actually put the hallway to the left of the second bathroom. That hallway leads all the way to the kitchen and also outdoor, so that anyone outdoor, and this will be ramped accessible, can come up and have access all the way in to the main building as well as back to the outside without having to do a walk around the building or inconvenience our customers. As we had said before, one of our main focuses is to provide convenience to all those who are participating and enjoying themselves at Andrea's Jazz Cafe. So that is the main difference. There's no other structural difference other than, like I said, the access to the kitchen is off to the left as opposed to going down the middle as well.
Sorry, I muted myself. With that, again, not to belabor any of these points, if any members of council have any questions, we'd be happy to address those. Again, otherwise, we will refer to the presentation that was made in December and the information that's included in the packet.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. Just to let Mr. Dantzler and Bridget know that I'm excited. It's much needed in our community, and I look forward to patronizing your establishment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes.
And if anyone out there plays an instrument, you're always welcome to come and jam with us on Wednesdays. You don't have to be a professional, just want to come out and hear or speak some poetry. We encourage that as well.
No, Ed.
Okay.
I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
So as you're aware,
I'm sorry, excuse me. This is the court reporter. I'm having trouble reading your name.
That's Ed Simpson.
Edward Simpson. So my questions are, right now, we've issued 2 economic development liquor licenses in the past few years. I'm trying to figure out how long ago we issued the first one. I know many years ago we issued one and it never opened up. We gave another economic development liquor license to another developer 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was. It's in safekeeping and it's not opening up. We issued another one last year and it's not open up. My concern is that when we continue to issue these economic development liquor licenses and nobody opens up, sooner or later the LCB is going to say, wait a minute, we've given you 3 and none of them have opened. That's my biggest concern. I want to be assured that the finances are there to go through with this and to open it up as planned, because everybody sits at these meetings and everybody sits at these hearings and they say, hey, I promise you, we're going to be sitting in that place in so many days. You have 180 days from when they issue that license to you have to be open. And it's COVID. All right. So if it's COVID and you don't plan on opening it, be truthful with me, because I'll be honest with you. I can't support it if you say, well, it's COVID and we're not going to be able to open it. And we're not going to do this or do that. But now you got the economic development license. And again, we're being stalled. So I know the one entity paid $50,000. You guys plan on putting up any money for this economic development liquor license?
To answer,
I can actually, I'm sorry, Bridget, go ahead.
Go ahead, Michael. You can
I was-
start.
No, I
Well,
was just going to
gonna say,
comment.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to comment, Mr. Simpson, that the application fee for the license is $50,000. I'm sorry,
Okay.
the application fee. Let me be clear what I'm saying. The application fee and the fee for the license itself have to be paid at the time of application. If
Okay.
LCB approves the license, then LCB keeps the application fee
Okay.
and the fee for the license. If they reject the application for the license, then they return the $50,000.
Okay.
So I do know that obviously I'm aware, we're all aware of the history of the other economic development licenses that have been issued by LCB for the city. My response to that is that yes, COVID is a factor, but I'm going to stop talking in just a moment and let Bridget and Dennis jump in on this. The only thing I would add here is that the remedy for whether it's COVID inspired or COVID inflicted, or whether it's other economic forces inflicted that are slowing down the rollout of those other licenses. The remedy, I don't think, is to say that we will stop pursuing economic redevelopment licenses because those are available for Chester County. And somebody else is going to apply for them. I was at an LCB hearing for one of these licenses last year at the end of 19, and there were 2 other ones in contention at that point in time. They're going to be applied for.
Right.
And
Not that your firm has an inside track, but I understand.
From my perspective, Coatesville's got a great story to tell when it comes to being on the cusp of some really great economic redevelopment activity. And it makes sense to keep pushing that story with LCB because it is a great story to tell. And I think that LCB recognizes that.
Yeah, but right now,
Bridget, I'm sorry.
we don't have a story to tell. We've had 2 that have applied and neither one of them have opened. And
Well,
that's
like
my
I said,
biggest concern. And I said with the first one, I said, mark my word, this place will never open. And here we are 4 years later and it's still not open. All right, it's still not open. I need some assurances before I can support this, that despite everything that's going on, this place is going to open as you say it's going to open. And if
Bridget,
it's not because of COVID, let me know now, because I just,
Like I said,
I hate to see these economic development licenses go out there and then we not use them. And then we got to give them back for one reason or another. We had, what's his name down in Philly, Bart Blatstein, how many years ago got one and said, oh, I was tired of coming to Coatesville and not having a nice place to go to. Well, he never opened up one and he's got more money than probably everybody on this meeting right now. You know, and it's just like, I want to see something. I don't want lip service that, oh, this is our intention. I want assurances that we plan on opening when we say we're going to open.
Yeah, I will tell you that I've had this conversation with Bridget and Dennis, and the response has been, if, again, as I said earlier, if we could get the license tomorrow, we'd be open the next day. And there's a little bit of hyperbole there, but I don't think very much. So Bridget and Dennis, I'm going to let you take it from there.
Yes, sure. I first like to start out by saying, Mr. Simpson, your concerns are very valid, and we have acknowledged them even in the onset of our planning in this entire process. Our business plan has been designed so that it's not defunct of COVID protocol. We have factored in a continuity plan that not so much is just COVID, but any type of pandemic that would, be present within the country, that we're able to adhere to, and we're still able to function as a business entity and bringing the same services, quality of service that we have promised and committed to at the onset of our business plan and while we're in operation. In addition, in our continuity plan, we have discussed the measures that we're going to take to keep the business running. Now, to backtrack a little bit, we have already started this process in business, and we have invested money out of pocket. We've been self-funding our venture so far to date, and that included the facade, which, if anyone is familiar or wants to take a ride down East Lincoln Highway, you're able to see it. The only thing you won't see is the name. It is covered. But once, we get the approval to be able to move forward with the liquor license, then that name can proudly be unveiled. Not that we're not proud of it, but we just want to make sure that everything is in place. We have committed to this from day one. We started this process back in September. I believe August, September, and we have not lifted our foot off the gas pedal. We've been going forward 120 miles per hour, trying to make everything cohesive, workable, and doable, not only for us, but for the city, because the city is a stakeholder in this venture as well as ourselves. excuse me, we want to do the city proud. We want to display and communicate that we are taking all measures, just like the recent renovation, just to sidetrack a little bit. Dennis did not feel comfortable that if we provided outdoor dining for our patrons, that they would have to be inconvenienced with trying to get into the restroom. So we had to go through, and we are going through the extra added expense, loss of space, reduction of space, okay, to accommodate the proper wheelchair accessible. We're ADA compliant and everything. We're taking all measures. We have invested at least, and I'm underquoting, $50,000 of our own monies right now so far. So we're truly vested. We honestly, we're kind of like the mom and pop of Coatesville. We don't have buckets of money.
Right.
We're very conscientious, and we try to budget and allocate our fundings appropriately. So we're good stewards of that. And right now, we just completed the architectural design that is ready to go to codes for permitting. And just like we did with the facade grant, we don't intend to let up the gas pedal. And like I said, our business is designed to function full capacity. The only thing, if there's a pandemic or reduction in occupancy, we're still able to provide the same service, the same food, the same venue of music entertainment, but it will just be in a different format. But we are
Okay.
able and we're equipped to do that. And that is reflected and it has been reflected in our business plan. And I think that's why our lending sources are very attracted to our venture, because you're right. Most people in the midst of a pandemic may not want to open up, this type of a venue, but everyone that we've talked to has seen the true benefit, has seen the thought and the commitment that's there, and are very supportive. So, and we thank you for your support as well, sir, and the entire council.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to it. Trust me. The first time we hear you're not opening, I will get on there publicly and make a comment about it, because I've been burnt too many times.
And I understand.
My
I
18th
understand
year,
it. I understand your
Art
reservation.
Blatstein, Legend Properties. Now we have another one. And I can't blame him, because he applied and got it, and then COVID hit. So I get that one. But the one before that should have been open years ago. You guys are applying during COVID, and right now you're committing to me saying we're going to open despite the COVID, and we're going to be there, and we're going to help out the city of Coatesville. And that's what I want to hear.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And we've made the provisions to do that without going into a lot of detail. I'm working with a company right now that's going to work with us on our streaming ability to be able to provide in the event that we do have to reduce
Right.
capacity, but we can still reach the masses who want to be entertained in this type of a venue.
Okay. All right. I'm going to trust you.
Okay.
You can.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
Are
So,
there any other I'm sorry.
oh no, I
Mr.
was just going to ask if there were any
Fairway,
questions.
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
Oh,
sir.
no, I was just going to offer if there were any other questions that we were prepared to answer those.
I was saying the same thing. I was so busy running the council meeting, I forgot we were in a separate session of the meeting. And our attorney, Mr. Verway, is running the meeting. So pardon my interruption.
If no council members have any questions, I actually do have two questions, just so we can check the boxes for this hearing. Could you just tell us briefly how many jobs you anticipate you'll be creating with this with your new business?
13.
Currently, right now, it's projected 13, but there is room to increase that number if we, as we see fit.
Okay. And my second question is, will you be selling, will 50% of your sales or more of your sales be based on food and non-alcoholic beverages, or will it be a different mix?
It will be a mixture. 50% is probably a little bit more than 50% will be food.
Okay.
And then approximately 10% will be the venue. And then the other 30 to 40% will be from the beverages.
I have no further questions. Michael, do you have any follow-up questions for your clients? Mr. Gill,
No.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, Tony. Mr. Fairway. No, we don't.
If there are no more questions from members of council, we will open up the hearing for public comments. If Mr. Gill, if you could go back to our regular screen so I can see if anyone has a question. And if you do have a question, please raise your hand using the hand raising feature, which should find in your upper right hand corner. I don't see any hands raised. Is last call for any public comment?
Ruth Ann, are there any on YouTube? Any comments on YouTube as opposed to Zoom?
No, there are none there.
Thank you.
Seeing none, I'll ask council if they have any closing comments relative to this application.
Good luck. And again, I look forward to patronizing your establishment.
I'd like
Thank
to
you
just
for
say good luck
investing in the
too,
city.
and I look forward to coming to your ribbon cutting, and I'm very excited for you guys and very excited for the city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, I wish you all the best, and I too look forward to coming and patronizing you and being a part of it. And again, thank you for considering Coatesville as the home of your establishment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Dantzler, how you doing, man? How you been? I can't wait until you open, man. It's great for the city. Thanks for believing in us, and thank you for being a resident to pour your money back into this community. It's a real establishment you're going to have, and we're going to support you 110%. So keep on, keep your foot on the gas and just open up, and so we can have somewhere we can pour a day.
Yeah.
And
Thank
to
you.
the Dantzler family, I would like to say thank you so much for choosing Coatesville to open up your business. In the spirit of Black History Month, thank you guys for being a Black business and showing cultural displays of food, cultural displays of music, and adding culture into our city. Thank you for being becoming a staple in what is the Black history of Coatesville.
Thank you much.
And I'd like to close with saying, oh, sorry.
Dennis, I would just like to thank you both. I tell you, since you've been coming presenting to us, you've been so professional and so determined in everything that you've said, and the fact that you've allowed us to understand that you're going to be using Coatesville. You want to use hire community members to work in your establishment. I can't wait to come out on Wednesday. I don't play an instrument, but I'm gonna learn.
That's okay.
That's good.
Oh, have mercy.
That's great.
I look forward to coming out and having some meals and listening to some good music. So thank you so much.
Tambourine doesn't count, Carmen.
Tambourine. Well, I can play that. I can play that from church. I can play the tambourine. I might.
That's all right. That's an instrument.
That's
All
right.
right, take your tambourine,
Again,
girl. Bring it in.
I want to say thank you. The old adage is build it and they will come. That's what we're hoping happens here.
It will.
And it's we're starving for arts and entertainment in the city of Coatesville. I mean, we have it all over the other municipalities within that are just thriving, and we're hoping that you can, hopefully kickstart it and get it up and running. And once you do it, then everybody else and their brother's going to start doing it. And that's what we're hoping for.
Yes.
All right. Well, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
I just, anticipating council's vote later in the meeting, I just have one comment. In the draft resolution that was circulated, this is technical and not nearly as happy as all of the other comments. But in the draft resolution, which was based on a document that actually we had submitted, so this error was mine, Andreas didn't have the accent over the E in Andreas. And because that's going to be an exhibit that ultimately gets submitted to LCB, Mr. Verwey, if it's possible that the final resolution as issued, again, anticipating council's vote, if it's possible that that could include that accent for, again, so we have a correct document that we can submit to LCB, that'd be great. Thanks.
You're welcome. If there are no further comments by council, I'd ask that a member of council make a motion to close the record and resume the regular city council meeting.
Make that motion.
I'll make
I'll
that
second.
motion.
I'll second.
Who made the motion?
I made the motion.
We all made a motion.
Oh, Christine? Just taking it easy over here. How about you?
Excuse me, who is that
Who?
speaking?
That's Paul Evans.
Who's second the motion, please?
I did, Mr. Logan.
Thank you.
Can we mute Mr. Logan? I don't arrange or set up the Zoom, but is there a way you can
Yeah,
mute?
Ruth, I can do that. So everyone
Thank
should be
you.
Thank you.
Is there any comment or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Mr. Logan, if you would take the vote, please.
Yes. Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
What is that noise?
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilman Simpson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes.
Can Justin please mute his mic?
7-0 carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Madam
much.
President,
Yes, sir.
that's the end of our hearing this evening, and we're ready to begin the regular meeting.
Thank you so much. Thank you again, Mr.
Thank-
McGill and Mr. Dantzler and Bridget. I'm sorry, I'm calling you by your first name because I don't know your last. It's no disrespect, but thank you also, love.
That's okay. Thank
you.
you.
Have a blessed
you.
evening.
Thank you
You
so
too.
much. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna
Am
move
I
right
done?
along. I'm sorry, Elaine, you were saying something?
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. Am I finished for the evening?
Yes, you are. I was actually just sending you a chat.
Thank you, Miss Work. You have a
Thank you.
blessed evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, as we move along, I need a motion for approval for our minutes from January 25th. Could I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Are there any questions or comments? Poll council, please.
Councilman Simpson,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes.
7-0 carries. Thank you.
Could I get a motion for approval of our accounts payables?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Are there any questions or comments regarding our accounts payables?
Yes. On page 4 of 57, invoice number 17552. It's the January animal control fees. It's over $3,000, but there's no supporting documentation in my packet to show what those fees are. And, you know, that would be $36,000 a year if we stayed at that. And there's absolutely no, I don't know what any of it is for because there's no supporting documentation in my package. And page 5 of 57, invoice number 857072, reimbursement for notary fees. Mr. Logan, could you tell me what those notary reimbursement expenses are? Do we just notarize free for all residents of Coatesville? I don't see supporting documentation for that either.
Yes, in the past we have, we don't charge for any of our notaries to sign documents here.
Okay, so that means anybody, all of the residents from Coatesville can come to City Hall and get their documents notarized?
If they need a notary, yes.
Okay, and so what are the reimbursement fees for? The city pays the
Well,
notary at City Hall?
Well, we pay for our license or our notaries here. We pay for their license to be a notary.
So is that what this is for?
Notary. I'm sorry?
Is that what this $56.50 is for? There's no.
I would have to look into that. I don't know exactly what that's for, but I think the invoice is probably in here. I'll take a look and see if it's in here.
Okay, and my last question is page 55 of 57. And this agreement was made way before I was on council, and that's the reason for this question. The lot that sits across the street from Public Works that the city uses for the extra toters, both trash and recycle. I see where the city is reimbursing ArcelorMittal for the annual 2020 taxes. So is the agreement that we have with them, we pay the annual taxes, or do we pay the annual taxes and we pay a monthly rent?
I'll let Rich answer that question, but to my knowledge, we do not pay a monthly rent. We pay an annual tax. Rich,
This
you want to?
is Rich, can council hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so there's 3 questions on the table. I'll take them in reverse order. Number 1 is the issue just raised. It is a simple arrangement where the mill owns the lot that we rent for storing the totes, the trash totes on. It is across the street from Public Works. And the only thing we pay is the real estate taxes that are represented here. There is no monthly rent or other rent. And if one looks at page 55, they'll see that $312 of the money is actually paying ourselves because it's the city tax.
Correct, right. I do see that, and I know where it is at. I was just trying to see, and if that's what we pay annually, I'm more than okay with that. I just wanted to make sure that there was no additional cost on that, because obviously that agreement was made long before I was on council.
Yeah, so you are correct with your assessment and your bottom line assessment. Going back to the notary, the $56 is the cost to get a notary officially signed on. So one of our employees now is a notary, so we have more than one on site. So that's
Okay.
what $56 is for. And your first question, the animal control fees on page 53 is the invoice. And that's the one that adds up to the 3,000. The third line item is approximately 1,700 is the annual component. So the annual component is 1,688, and the other $1,200 and change, $1,300 and change is for the actual monthly activity.
Right, but normally in our packets, for each animal that's picked up, it gives the name, the address, the circumstances of the activity, or, you know, the animal being picked up, or what the circumstances are. There is none of that documentation in this particular package. And in previous packages, it's always there. That's the only reason I asked about that, because you can't actually see where an animal was picked up at, or what animal was picked up, or the reason for our department being called to a particular address. That's the documentation that I was referring to.
Yeah, I would have to look into that, because one of the reasons why we didn't have, you can see the number of items there. For each one of the items, oftentimes there's 5 to 10 pages that are accompany those items. So that was just for the sake of this particular packet, we were just trying to cut down, but we can certainly give you that information if you like.
Yeah, but the bulk of the expense is noted that it's our annual fee of almost
Annual
1,700. Yeah, it says it there.
Correct, but it's still quite a bit for animals with no supporting documentation. That's it. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any others? Full council, please.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Alamin.
Councilwoman, no.
I'm sorry, I got two different.
That's okay. I know it gets confusing.
Councilwoman Alamin.
No.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilman Simpson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes.
6-1 carries.
Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications?
Yes, we have a addition to regular action items. 7.3 would be to receive and consider
Emergency.
our emergency declaration extension.
Okay.
Is there a second to the addition? Could I get a second?
I'll second it.
Sorry, I didn't get who made the motion?
Councilwoman
Carmen.
Green, Councilwoman Hunt.
Thank you.
Full council, please.
Councilman Simpson,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alamí,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender North.
Yes.
7-0 carries.
Excuse me. On to our presentations and our swearing in of our promoted officers. Chief?
Yes, Madam President, thank you. Last council meeting, when we had our discussion and approval of our most recent promotions, we had a little sidebar where we talked about bringing the recently promoted officers before council for their official swearing in, which is what we had routinely been doing until COVID hit last year. And I know our first round of promotions were to occur last March. And if you'd have told any of us, I think last March, that a year from now, we still would have been in COVID restrictions, I don't think any of us would have believed it. But nonetheless, here we are a year later with our COVID restrictions still in place. So we felt that it would be fair to go ahead and go back to March of last year and go ahead and have an official swearing in of our part-time officers and promotions starting from February of last year of 2020 through the current promotions that we discussed last council meeting. So what we did is we have those officers all present tonight in Judge Hines' courtroom upstairs here in City Hall. And they are present with their family members to assist them with the swearing in. So we're going to start with the vacancies that were created for a corporal position and a full-time officer position with the retirement of Corporal Shannon Miller back in February of 2020. So in filling those positions, we promoted part-time officer Sam Snyder to full-time, and we promoted Officer Carmen Malakella from officer to corporal. So at this time, we'll go ahead and have Judge Hines read the oath of office for our Officer Snyder and then for our Corporal Malakella.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good evening.
All
Good
right.
evening.
Councilman Simpson,
Yes, sir.
I just want to let you know when the cafe opens up, man, you got a day for karaoke, okay?
Hey, I'm right there with you, Judge. I'm right there with you.
Holding the mic for him.
That's right. What are we going to sing? Country music?
Yeah.
Water boy.
Trying to bring people into the city, not run them out.
Stay and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I will discharge the duties. And I will discharge the duties as a patrolman. As a patrolman in the city of Coatesville. In the city of Coatesville. With fidelity. With fidelity. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
Judge Hines, could I ask? I don't know if he could hear me.
I can hear you.
Could I ask that you step up a little closer because we cannot see you, nor can we see the faces of the officer.
Okay, let's see what we can do about that.
The young man.
Yeah, the flags are in the way.
Young man that just stepped up was in perfect, like we're looking at his back.
All right, hold on.
Hey there. Is that Malakella?
It is.
Corporal Carmen Malakella.
Corporal Malakella, you better step up front.
That's Carmen.
There you go. Thank you so much.
That better?
Yes,
Yep.
wonderful. We see their support.
I state your name. I, Carmen Malakella. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I will discharge the duties. As corporal. In the city of Coatesville. with fidelity. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we had, if everybody remembers, the retirement of Detective Kevin Campbell back in June of last year. With the retirement of Detective Campbell, that created a vacancy for a part-time officer to full-time officer promotion. And at that time, Officer Kevin Marvel was promoted from part-time to full-time. So if we could go ahead and have Judge Hines officially swear in Officer Marvel.
I state your name. I, Kevin Marvel, do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend. That I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I will discharge the duties. And I will discharge the duties as a patrolman. As a patrolman in the city of Pittsburgh. In the city of Pittsburgh. With fidelity. With fidelity. So help me. So help me. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Now, next, we had the official retirement after a prolonged period of disability for a non-service related disability retirement, which was finally approved and made official for Officer Miguel Ortiz. And with his official retirement from the department, that created a vacancy right at the same time last fall that Corporal Michaels announced his retirement from the department as he took a position with the West Brandywine Township Police Department at the rank of lieutenant. So those two things kind of occurred simultaneously, and we promoted part-time to full-time Officer Alejandro Ortiz and Officer Timothy Kemmerly at the same time to fill those two vacancies. So at this time, I would ask Judge Hines to go ahead and swear in Officer Ortiz, Alejandro, and then Officer Timothy Kemmerly.
I state your name. I, solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. That I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I will discharge the duties. I will discharge the duties as a patrolman in the city of Pittsburgh. In the city of Pittsburgh. With fidelity. So help me God. So help me God.
Congratulations.
I state your name. I do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. That I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I will discharge the duties as a patrolman in the city of Pittsburgh. With fidelity. So help me God. Congratulations.
I might add there, the individual holding the Bible for Officer Kemmerly was actually our former corporal, Ken Michaels.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
As I believe Officer Kemmerly is cousin.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right.
Okay.
How awesome.
Sorry, got excited.
Stand in front of the camera again, Michaels. Thank you. Good to see you.
How are you?
Safe? Tell those people in West Brandywine they better treat you good.
Yeah, hopefully you can come down there and visit and tell them that too.
All right. I got as soon as possible.
All right.
Good to see you.
Your hair still looks good, Corporal.
You know.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant.
There you go.
Okay, well, that brings us to the most recent round of promotions and part-time to full-time officer promotion that we had discussed at last council meeting. So that was brought about, as we all know, by the retirement of Sergeant Smith that we had spoken about, and congratulated him on his 20 years of service to the city. So with his retirement, of course, that created a sergeant's vacancy, which we have filled with the promotion of Corporal Brendan Boyle to the rank of sergeant. And then back in November, when Corporal Michaels retired, we never filled his corporal position. So we're filling his corporal position and the corporal position vacated by the promotion of Corporal Boyle to sergeant. So we have 2 corporal positions for Jared Davis and for Christopher McCarthy. And then we have the part-time officer promotion to full-time of Felicia Delegati. So at this time, Judge, if you would swear in Officer Delegati.
I state your name.
I, Felicia Delegati,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and I will discharge my duties
and I will discharge my duties
as patrolman
as patrolman
in the city of Pittsburgh
in the city of Pittsburgh
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
So help me God.
So help me.
Congratulations.
Yay, Felicia!
Congratulations.
Okay, at this time, if we could have Officer Davis, newly promoted Corporal Davis, take his oath of office.
All right. I state your name.
I, Jared Davis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and I will discharge the duties
I will discharge the duties
as corporal
as corporal
in the city of Pittsburgh
in the city of Pittsburgh
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
So help me
So help me God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge. Now, if we could have Officer Christopher McCarthy, newly promoted to corporal.
Cute.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States, Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I will discharge the duty as corporal in the city of Pittsburgh with fidelity. So help me. Congratulations.
Hey, Sarge, is that his kid?
Yes, that's Chris's son.
Future officer in the city of Coatesville.
All right. At this time, Judge, if we would swear in Corporal, newly promoted to Sergeant, Brendan Boyle.
Boyle.
I state your name.
I, Brendan Boyle,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of
and I will
Pennsylvania,
discharge the duty
and I will discharge the duties
as sergeant
as sergeant
in the city of Pittsburgh
in the city of
with
Coatesville
fidelity.
with
So
fidelity.
help me.
So help me God.
Thank you, Judge.
Congratulations.
If we could have all of the newly promoted officers, corporals, and sergeant sort of line up in front of the knee wall.
How's that? Just to let you guys know.
Socially distance and take your mask off so we can see your face.
Now, let's leave the mask on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
leave them on.
Can't do that.
Wow.
This is awesome.
Next to the
This is how many we're adding because this is how many we've lost.
That's correct, Madam President. Just to reaffirm that, these are simply promotions from part-time to full-time, corporal and sergeant, that keep us at our current complement. And simply through attrition, it's necessary for us to make these moves to keep the department functioning at the level that we currently function at. So we are proud of these officers here tonight and the support the council has demonstrated for our department. I would just like to say that, you know, with promotion, either part-time officer to full-time, to corporal or sergeant, with promotion comes added responsibility. And we are here to ensure that each of these officers lives up to that added responsibility, and that they're making the decisions that they need to make to ensure the safety of the citizens of Coatesville, and to ensure that our department continues to provide the leadership and the service that is required and that we require of them. And I know council indeed requires of them also. So at this time, I would just offer it out to council if anybody would like to make any comments in recognition of our newly promoted officers, corporals, and sergeant tonight.
I would like to make a comment to all. This is Carmen Green. I just want to first just congratulate those that were promoted, congratulate those that were new to the department. I listened very attentively as you took your oath of office, and the chief just said a mouthful, but you took your oath of office, and one of the things that Judge Hines said was that you would do your job with fidelity. And that's just very important because the word fidelity means that you would be faithful and supportive. And I just want to say that I'm very happy for all of you being promoted to these positions, but I do ask and desire us to all be mindful of our residents, to be respectful at all times in doing our jobs. There's a way of doing our jobs and being respectful. And I just want to let you know that as the chief said, as you're promoted, you're held to a higher standard. And I just, again, want to congratulate you and let you know that protecting and serving in our community is a privilege. You know, Coatesville is a very unique place. And I know that you all know you've seen some things and been involved in some things, but I do thank you for your service. But at the same time, I just wanted that just understand that when you are promoted to a higher position, the level of accountability is higher. And I just want to respect you all in what the task that you're being given, and trust that you will do your jobs with fidelity. Thank you very much.
Madam President, if I may.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate you guys on your promotions. And I'll say it one more time. This is the best police department in the whole Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, in my opinion. And I appreciate everything you do for this community and continue to do for this community. And I really appreciate it. And by the way, I heard that Lieutenant Audette and Judge Hines were buying dinner tonight. Is that true, Judge?
I got the right to remain silent.
Again, congratulations, guys. And I really mean when I say that you guys are the best. I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do.
Madam President, may I speak?
Please.
Yeah, to the, this is Councilman Donald Folks. You know, I speak to you guys all the time. You know, when I was on the civil service, I was there when you guys started, a couple of yawns. And I still got the pictures up in my office when we talked And I can remember every time when new officers came in, I was in the chambers with the judge, and I used to say to him that this is not a black and white town. This is a red and black town. We are Coatesville. We might don't have much, but what we have, we appreciate it. We have your back if you have ours. So whatever you need that I can do for you, I'll do it. But when it comes to being a cop, don't be a good cop, be an excellent cop. Because good is the failure of excellent. Show your colors. I know you're backed by the blue, but we are red and black, and we love this town. It's not about I or me. It's about we, us. So treat this city like your home, because we treat it like ours. Thank you. Congratulations. I'll be seeing you around. I'll take coffee and donuts now.
Thank you.
Madam
Mr.
President, if I may.
Please.
Yes, I just want to say that civilian safety is of the utmost importance. And I really think when I think about keeping people safe, when we think about keeping people safe, that really means to mitigate all forms of violence, community-based violence and violence against people who are in the community. And in order to mitigate that, that really takes investment in the community, opportunities, and resources. The safest communities in America have the most resources, the most opportunities, and the most investments. So Coatesville should be taking the model of investment, opportunity, and resources over the model of surveillance and punishment. So I would implore everybody that got a promotion today to consider what it means to truly systemically keep folks safe, because we all know that investment reduces crime. And that's everyone who has a promotion, everyone who is in power, who makes decisions for the city, has to truly invest in the community for it to be a safer place for all of us, and move with love and compassion for our civilians. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any others? I would just like to say thank you, first of all, to you, Chief, for your leadership and your direction. And I want to thank each and every officer that was just promoted for your humility to the extent that you can follow. Because as Chief leads and you follow, we as a community are safer. I thank you gentlemen, because you're one of our first responders. And while you're out there putting your life on the line, I just want to right now pray and say that I pray that when you go out on your calls, everyone that you go out on understands and recognizes that you're putting your life on the line for them. That way, everybody's in a position to go home safely. So I thank you, gentlemen. I was, like Council Vice President Green said, I was also listening as you were taking the oath. And I appreciate the fact that I heard the sincerity in your voice as you were taking the oath. So you gentlemen go forth in blessings and grace and safety. And thanks again for being a part of our community.
Mm.
Be blessed.
Very good.
We do have one lady.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Green, you said something.
There was one female officer.
I said that, ladies and gentlemen.
I apologize. Again, here I go again. Uh-oh, who feels like that?
Ruth Ann.
It's okay. You're allowed. That's the go home music. Is that the end this thing?
Yeah.
Music? Yes. You better work on that, Ruth Ann. So again, thank you, gentlemen. Judge Hines, thank you for your service. You're
Yeah, Judge.
always there for us.
Not a problem. Good seeing all of you guys. You guys stay safe.
Good night.
Lieutenant Michaels, it's so awesome to see you. God bless you.
You were not on mute.
He was
It might be a while before.
Hey, Ruth Ann, can you mic that room, please? Thank you.
Okay. Brandywine View. Mike Kissinger.
I think he went to sleep.
Hello. Oh, I didn't go to sleep. I was very interested. I've never seen that room before, and I guess that's a good thing, right, Chief?
I'll say.
That's your story and stick to it.
That's right. Thank you. I don't know. That's a pretty tough act to follow. So congratulations to all those people. It's quite amazing. I find myself still watching it, and I pinned it, so I'm still watching them now sign documents. So we have you guys have met him before. A developer named John Jeffy, and he has come in for various things related around to the train station, and he's a developer out of York and has purchased what used to be called the Baker Tract, and it is what was previously the Brandywine View. It was a 76-acre parcel. It's a rather large parcel. So I'm going to share my screen with you, give you a little tour. And Linda, I heard it's up by your house.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So more than happy to meet with whoever that I can to try to answer any questions and so on as well. So this is a current aerial, just to orient everybody. I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see, 82 and around, train station here down. Harlan Street comes up, and Adams and Buchanan. And really what this current application is about is this area here that's along between the tracks and Adams. And our main entrance will be right off of Buchanan. So while you look at this map here, and if you look at it from the street, I'll show you that view real fast, what the site looks like today. And of course, spin around. It's a lot of voluntary growth. It's a lot of area that's been left alone for a considerable amount of time. But a couple things to notice is that this vegetation is very young. It is not a very large tree area. It's a lot of scrub, and we call it voluntary growth. I think is a nice way of saying it's kind of left to its own for a while. So to that point, I want to show you that this site did have a previous life, seemingly in about 2010. So in 2010, you can see it was completely cleared. I feel that this site was actually a staging area for the home construction that was adjacent to it. So this site looks like it's where the contractors set up their work, had their trailers and so on. Along the back wall here, along the slope, there is still silt fence, chain link fence with, like the black fabric through it. And so this site all but was a previously a construction staging area. But so Mr. Jeffy has purchased the property, and we're coming to you today to give you a little sneak peek at what we're hoping to do, which is develop, if I can get my computer to cooperate, some multifamily buildings on that property. So coming in off of Buchanan, we'd have a parking lot through here and loop around. The way the development is oriented is that if you look at Adams, Adams is actually about 490 is the elevation there. These first floors would be 490. And then there'd be a lower level that is 480. So from the street, you would see about 20 feet of wall, which would be a 2-story structure. But on the far side, when you're in the site, you would see it as a 3-story structure. We would do the same thing again, working with the grade. So you would see, looking this way, you would see a 2-story structure. And again, from the opposite side, from the bottom, you would see a 3-story structure. So what this allows us to do is to create a good amount of view shed from the different units over the structures and then into the city, really utilizing those views from the city. If you look at these homes here, you have 490 is this elevation. These homes here along that ridge sit very high off the street. So you don't actually believe that those would even block some of the residents' views. If I go back to this to try to depict that.
Are you talking, so you're talking 240 apartments?
Yes.
Market rate?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you do this, where's all that water going to go after you cut that hill out?
Well, so we're actually not going to be changing the hill grade at all. We're well aware of the fact that you have a situation here with a very steep slope, and keeping grass growing or moss or any kind of vegetation growing on a steep slope is very hard to do. So right now there is a pipe here, and I can highlight it for everybody. If my computer cooperates, I'll go right through here. This pipe here goes down and goes under the railroad tracks, hits the pipe that's around Fleetwood, and then actually goes to the river. So there is a city infrastructure pipeline that runs through this property right now. What we would do is, and I'm going to switch out of the, what we would do is propose basins, an underground basin here. And what we're very aware of water running off the slopes. So what we've done is we've actually graded these parking lots so that the curb will flow back through. And that way the inlets would be here and here. That way it keeps the water from running down that hill and causing a lot of problems. We can handle that with an engineering solution. There is a retaining wall on this side, but you can see it's not in this cliff type scenario. We've avoided that and really placed a wall over here on this far side.
What about all the contaminants from the parking lot?
Contaminants from the parking lot?
Yeah, oil and gas and everything that leaks out.
Well, that is all handled by our typical stormwater system. So we'll have rain gardens and underground basins that will provide BMPs for that. Let's see here.
Have you guys done a traffic study to see what the impact it's going to have?
No,
Buchanan Drive.
There was a previous traffic study for the development that was done. We have not done any traffic studies for this. And again, this system, you really see it if people going through Buchanan would be a very long stretch. The majority of the people here would be coming down Adams and towards the station. And, it is a steeper walk, but it is a walk. You can walk to the new station location from this area down on Adams. Again, it is a steeper walk, but that is part of our intention here to make this.
Wasn't the previous development that was talked about, wasn't that up on top of the hill and coming in off of a separate entrance off of Route 82?
It was, yes, but it was much, much larger.
Yeah.
Correct, but there was nothing about coming down Adams. It was all coming up 82.
Well, I think Yeah, so
So that traffic study that you're saying, that you referenced to earlier, Michael, really doesn't do us any good to see what it's like coming down Adams with 240 apartments up on that hill.
What would
Okay.
it take to have the entrance coming off of 82?
it's a very expensive entrance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very expensive entrance. It's a
What's it
project
zoned
prohibitive.
for?
This is the zone for,
Residential.
yeah, it's what does it say here? It's RC, so residential conservation in Hilltop neighborhood. So
Mhm.
there's a Hilltop overlay.
Okay.
And what is the current, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilman Simpson. I thought you were done.
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, is it zoned for the apartments or is it zoned for single family residential or what?
No, it is zoned for, it is zoned to allow for multifamily apartments, multifamily
Okay.
dwellings. There
You're
is
not
a,
there now.
say that again?
Maybe because of Elmwood Gardens Apartments complex, that area is zoned in that manner.
Yeah, right at the bottom of the hill here is the other apartment
Yeah.
complex.
Right.
And what is the current market rate for, the prospective apartments? 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3? What is the current market rate?
I don't actually know that number off the top of my head. I know it fluctuates a lot, and our developer actually wasn't able to make it tonight, but we can have those numbers prepared. But it is, our goal here is to make it a market rate apartments, a very nice product.
Okay, well,
and
you
something
said
we
it's
feel-
current market rate. So what is it
Mhm.
right now? Even if it can fluctuate or it can change, what is it now?
What I said is I don't know the current market rate, that the plan is for it to be market rate.
Will it be
So
sort
it
of
won't
like,
be-
are we talking like how many bedrooms? Like
1 and 2 bedrooms. So
1 and
there
2.
are, yep. So the breakdown would be 120 1 bedroom and 122 bedrooms.
So we're talking anywhere from probably 900 to 1,200.
Well,
That is in-
Millview is 1,000 for a 1 bedroom.
Mhm.
Yeah, the prices are going sky high right now. So the price up there for 1 bedroom, especially 1 bedrooms, are very hard to find. Market rate's pretty good on them.
Yeah, the average market rate starts about 1,100. In Westchester, the average rate is 1,500. And that's for 887 square feet. So it does vary based on, the region, the borough, the municipality. I would say right now we have a landlord in Coatesville, has some very beautiful apartments. I think he starts at maybe 1,100 and goes up. And so there are individuals here in Coatesville that they want a better product, and this might be the answer.
You're not concerned about water, getting in that slow water in those buildings?
No, so we've done a few of these projects that are hotels on a hillside. We've done, and it's in Plymouth Meeting, and it's actually we cut into the hill on that one. Had to get it to regrow, which is, like people mentioned, very hard to do. We've had a couple like that. So again, the way we really do it is you kind of sump it away from the hill. So again, if I make this outer curb higher than the road, if instead of running over the hill, it forces it into our inlets and into our system and keeps it from running down that hill. There will be a construction plan where water will run down that hill before that basin could be built. But that's what we use silt fence and swales in to try to keep that from happening. But
And that basin would be something that you guys do? That
Absolutely.
would be part of your construction, yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Maintenance also?
Absolutely. We'd be entering into a post-construction stormwater basin, operations and maintenance, which it's all fairly typical. So it's great. This project is, while still in the city, it's the first one I've done in the city that doesn't tie into any streets around it where, we have to worry about inlet grates and things so we actually have a great ability here to make things flow back towards it and to keep the water on our property.
And Michael, I have a question when you get a chance.
Sure.
Okay, so Michael, have you considered a community benefits agreement? Have you drafted one?
I'm not aware of that at this point. We're still very early into it though, so we welcome the suggestion.
Okay, so community benefits agreements are conditions and negotiations between developers, neighborhood organizations, the people who live closest to the property in the city. And a lot of times they are asking for, for units to be affordable, have a certain amount of affordable units, have jobs within the development and things like that. And of course, the people who would be closest to the property would be the people who would negotiate those benefits agreements. But I do think that this property should benefit the community. And then the second
You're gonna help pay for it?
question, well, that would be on the on the developer. And then the second question that I had was, what are the sustainability practices in these apartments for the construction, for the building, and also like long term, as we're thinking about putting this development and as the world is moving away from fossil fuels, how can we know that this is long term going to be sustainable?
So in terms of sustainability, I mean, sustainability, in my opinion, is very much about lifespan. If we want a great product, which we all do, then it's going to be sustainable and it's going to be easily maintainable for a long period of time. We develop systems like these stormwater basins through, what Ed was referring to with rain gardens, so that you can see if there's a problem and you can fix them. Then we have larger underground basins that serve a function to reduce the water flow and so on. But we build them out as pipe and stone, so that way they're as durable and long lasting as possible. So you mix both of the, the engineering sciences together. In terms of the architecture, when we get into that, there will be MEP systems for the buildings, and I'm not sure at this point what the, high efficiency or things. I think that's something that we could discuss with you at later date. But, you do have a developer who wants to build a great product here. He's been building in York County. He's been building, this type of model in a lot of different places. And I think he'd be very excited to tell you about, those features and so on. And like I said, the developer couldn't make it and the architect, so I'm sorry, you're stuck with the engineer. So, I can speak to it as much as humanly possible.
Hey, Michael.
Thank you so much for answering those questions for me.
Hey, Michael, if everything went right, when do you think you'd be moving some dirt?
He wants to move right away, so I would say 6 to 9 months. You play out 6 to 9 months right now, you're still putting it in 2020. And, you have a very happy, encouraged developer that would like to keep moving.
So Michael, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Was there an area study done with the residents up in that area to get their input or feedback on this project?
No, ma'am. We're just, like I said, we're early in the stages here. This plan does meet zoning. It does meet the hilltop overlay and the area and dimensional requirements. So that is one of the larger pieces. But we do meet code for parking, for impervious, and actually I think we're even lower than the property would allow for impervious and building coverage.
Right, I understand that, and that wasn't my question. My question was concerning the residents that live up there in that area. I just asked, was any consideration given to them as far as a study to see if a project like this would be welcomed in their area? Whether it holds any weight or not, I'm not sure, but I'm just asking the question.
There was no study like that done. again, we're open to suggestions as to if there's some people that we could talk to about it and explain and answer any of their questions. Again, so we, we as designers and engineers make an assumption. I don't know if you'll say it an assumption or good assumption, bad assumption, but that the zoning ordinances are written for plots of land and are congruent with the neighborhood. So as we've talked about, it meets code and the apartments idea. There is apartments at the bottom of the hill, with the view, and we've really taken that into account. We didn't try to add another level and block views. We've really tried to stagger those plans. So I think we've made a good design to try to make a development that's feasible at the same time welcome in the neighborhood. So we hope that.
Do you have architectural drawings?
Not
have
with
drawings
me, no.
already?
We're still
No.
that early.
I'm just asking, do you? Okay, because I understand what Ms. Hunt is saying, and maybe a town hall for people who live in that area, just to show them and to discuss, what the plans are. I think that's only, any area that you're coming in and you're wanting to put a project of this size, we're talking 240 apartments for the people who own their homes up there, just to get their input. Not that, they may love it, you know what I mean? And then again, they may hate it, but just to see where they are, if you have a drawing or something for them to look at, to see what you're looking to do.
Right. Basically a consideration factor.
Oh, no, and that's, and
those that are there.
And I hope that you guys understand that this was our first step at trying to get to those next steps. Our goal here was to come to the board. We have not submitted an application to the city at this point. Our goal was to meet with you and talk to you about this beforehand. I thought that my reading of previous meetings and so on is that that's something that the council would appreciate, is a heads up on projects like this. So,
Exactly. And I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate the steps that you're taking. I just simply asked another question.
Yeah,
not that it weighs one way or the other. I just simply, because it is in my ward, and I simply just asked if there was a consideration given to the residents that are there. Because this is a magnitude, whether what they say would weigh in or not weigh in, I just think giving them an opportunity, extended courtesies always go further than just throwing something, in. And that's why I asked the question, to represent. That's all.
Understand and completely agree. So more than happy to meet with whoever, the council feels is appropriate to. We're excited. We see this property as something that we could, make a great project on.
Yeah, Michael.
If I could just,
see why you're.
Go ahead, Councilman Folks.
Yeah, Michaels, I see why you're picking this spot. Because of the train station.
Yeah.
But up on top of that hill, there's a whole bunch of land.
Yeah.
So why not go up there? I'm just asking questions, man.
I think that's for a later, a later development. I think this, if you think about it in terms of a phased approach, I think that might be a later phase. Okay. If you worked on this lower phase here, this first phase, and if you actually look at our plan, we account for the entire 76 acres on our plan. This is just the first phase of that. It's oriented towards, the transit, towards the train station, this right here on 4th. Like I said, it is a good walk, but it's short. It's just hill. So it's like, so yeah, that is definitely part of our plan. But that's why this one is such a desirable first step. For example, that's the transit oriented, and again, I'll show you that on the plan in terms of the density of an apartment complex. When you look at the density, we're basically looking at that density as a result of the entire lot, all 76 acres of it. So anyway, sorry, Mr. Logan.
No, Mike, I was just going to say, and to all of our council members, Mike actually invited me to come out and take a look at what they were proposing. Many of you know that Mike has been on several projects here in the city of Coatesville. The largest one right now is our train station. So he is fully aware of our need as far as, your desires to make sure that when there is a new development that comes to this community, you guys want to know what's going on. So that's one of the reasons why I invited him to come out tonight. He's definitely conscious about, what's going on up there. And as far as the having public comment, I think, Mike, we'd be more than happy to put together a Zoom town meeting to do something like that when you guys are ready. And this is just part of the new process, I would say, when it comes to bringing development here in the community. You all as council members, you should be involved. I love hearing your feedback because it's important. And we're all trying to make, move the city forward. So this is great. This is a great courtesy, and I appreciate it.
Maybe in the next meeting, Michael Hab will tell us about if we have any luck in finding any developers for the Fleetwood Street.
I thought you said you weren't feeling well. You were tired.
I'm getting ready. As soon as this is over, I got to go. But you know me, I got to keep stirring that pot, right, Michael?
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. No, we understand, and the same developer was one of the ones that looked at the train station. So, again, this is a way to look at it and a way to get started. So, in terms of the time frame in the 6 to 9 months, we are prepared to submit land development plans that would address your codes for stormwater and so on. So, we are interested in moving that along quickly. One thing that has been brought up is that if the city of Coatesville still operates under a condensed land development procedures where we would do a preliminary final versus just a preliminary then a final, then, that would cut, maybe a month or so off in terms of meetings. Is that something that is still entertained in the city, or with a project this size, or how would you all feel about that?
I think
green light.
I think what we need to do, though, Mike, with our council members, is present it in a way that we have the language in a proposal document so they all can look at it equally.
Yeah. So I don't know, and maybe Mr. Furway can help me with that. I'm not sure if it's an actual waiver or what is actually required at that point.
Mike, I'll have to look at the Saldo ordinance and get back to you on that. But that's something we'll work through with the planning commission as well. So let me look at that and let me talk to the PC.
Yeah, and I just didn't want to, if we go to the planning commission and for the first time and someone's tried to say I was trying to maneuver something. So we're just interested in moving it along as fast as possible, so that way we can move on to next phases and so on. So
Hey, Michael. Yeah, does this developer have the money to start and finish this project?
Yes, sir.
Without asking for money?
Or tax increment financing, or
I understand the question completely. Yeah, no, I will get you an answer to that. Obviously, I believe I know the answer, but I don't want to misspeak.
Yeah, because every time a developer comes in saying we don't need nothing, and then next week he comes back and say, well, I need this, I need that. We don't want that anymore.
I understand.
So if he's going to come in and he's going to say, I don't need no money, I got the money to finish this project, and I got the money to end this project. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear handouts or grants. We don't want to hear that. We heard that over and over and over again, and nobody does anything. I'm not howling on you, Michael.
No, I know.
But
You've been down this road. I understand.
I'm talking about the past.
I
And we
know.
don't want that here no more.
No, I completely understand
I
that.
mean, we got
Yeah.
First Avenue as a hole in the ground.
Mm.
So we don't want that.
I
So
understand, sir.
I'm just saying.
No, I understand.
And Fleetwood Street.
And and the
Third Avenue. Well, it's all right. We know where they are.
so yes, this developer, I'm very confident in the developer. I think you guys are going to be very pleased, and so I'll get back to you personally about that one. But otherwise, very confident in them. They're putting up a good model. They've been building these all over, so it's not their first time. They're very reputable and ready to go.
Oh, they look like the units down in Exton. They look pretty nice.
I'm not sure that they built anything in Exton. I think the last ones they built were out in York, but I'm not sure. I can find you some addresses of properties they've developed.
Those developments in Exton look pretty nice.
They do.
Well, I heard you the first time. I was just skipping by it.
Oh, okay.
Now, the only thing I would just like him to explore the traffic situation a little bit more.
Okay, we can take
You
a look
know.
at that.
Yeah, because we don't want another Oak Street, one way in, one way out. Wasn't very good.
True.
So he shouldn't need any funding if it's in the opportunity zone. We've got plenty of, he doesn't need,
How
he
about
doesn't need
that?
any HUD money.
How about that?
But he's building market rate, so
That's what they all say.
I think that's a great idea, though.
Yeah,
You
oh
know,
yeah, it's
especially-
a great idea if it's market rate. I think it's a great idea.
Especially because
Yeah.
of the homeowners that are there.
Right.
I think it would be, if a complex had to go there, it would need to be a market rate.
And complement the housing that's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the ones down King of Prussia and Exton. Perfect.
There it is. Right.
Yeah, they are. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
So then that's
All right,
something to
ladies
think
and
about and
gentlemen,
put together,
I unfortunately have to go.
put
I'm gonna
together a
check out.
town hall.
Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Ed, be safe. Have a blessed night.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, so the next steps for us would be to submit land development plans and work through that application process and so on. Now, in the meantime, if there's any kind of community outreach we could do, please just let us know. James,
If
we
the
can work together.
If the developer is willing to send out information to the residents there, inviting them to a town hall, I think that would be great.
So if we could just, is there an HOA in that neighborhood at all?
No.
Or is that, okay.
No,
I don't think so.
no,
So,
it's not.
okay, so we could take a look at that. We could post signage if there, we'd ask if the city's help on that, just to make sure we didn't miss somebody. I'm not sure if there's a large renter population up there.
We would be able to put together the list for that ward. I have one question, Mike. Now, you said that this is going to be market rate. Is it going to be like a club is it going to be a complex that has like a clubhouse or a pool?
No, there won't be any of that that I'm aware of. The way we've had these models, I don't believe so based on this building. So the current design does not have any kind of facility like that within it.
So when you look at, so when I was saying Millview, charging what they, the market rate, but that comes with a clubhouse and a pool.
And a pool, right?
Okay.
So, and if they're able to charge $1,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, but they have amenities too, like I said, they have a clubhouse and they have a pool there.
Right. Understood.
And it's gated.
It's gated, right?
Well, so I'll when we come back to, obviously when we go to planning commission and we work through those details, we'll have all of the developer will be there and be able to answer those questions for you.
Okay.
I apologize he wasn't able to make it tonight, but we're really excited about it. We wanted to jump at the opportunity to show it to you. So If we can get that community outreach going and, get a nice project in here, I think I'm confident it's one that we can all be proud of.
Good.
Yeah. I think it would be beautiful around the train station. I really do. But if we're trying to attract a certain type of renter in there, they want amenities.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Get it on the road. Okay.
We just want to make it comfortable living for those that are there. That's all.
Mm.
Hey, Mike, can you take that screen down?
Sure. Get rid of it like that?
Thank you.
Yeah. Because most of these new complexes, they have all of that. And that's what attracts these, more and more people are renting apartments now. But they're attracted to them because of the amenities and things like that.
Right.
So something to think about.
Appreciate the comment. We'll definitely talk about that.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome, Mike.
Great to see everybody.
You too.
also.
Have a good night.
All right.
Oh,
my God.
awesome.
It's 9:30.
Yeah, I know.
It is 9:30, yes.
It's my bedtime, y'all.
Because y'all want to talk to people. Want to know stuff. Okay, we're on to our discussion item. Anything with regard to meeting minutes? Praise the Lord. The COVID emergency declaration, we'll be discussing and voting on that in our regular action items. But in the meantime, is there any discussion regarding it?
Mr. Logan, could you just reread the COVID emergency declaration for the purposes of the public?
It's on it's a lot of information and it's on our website.
Things long.
But
It's
you could
on
do
our
that
website.
to the action item. Can we read part of it or something when we get to the action item?
Yeah, absolutely. The actual breakdown of it.
Yep.
But Mr. Logan, if you would like to expound on it now, you're certainly welcome.
I'll wait till it becomes an action item.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we're on to, are there any other questions or comments regarding it? We're on to our citizens hearings and our regular action items. We have a 3-minute limit. We need your name, your information, and I will check.
Excuse me, Council President, do we have to vote to close discussion items?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Do we have any comment from public comment?
No, Councilwoman Green was asking most of the questions during the last presentation.
Okay.
What?
The questions you were asking are questions that were posed
Oh, okay.
by residents. Is that what you were saying, Ruth Ann?
Yes.
Thank you. So we don't have any? Ooh, Holly. Can I get a motion to close?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
I
second.
second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
Councilwoman Alameen.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Full council, please.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Oates,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris,
Yes.
Mm.
and Mr. Simpson has left the meeting.
He has left the building. Yep.
Elvis.
6-0 carries.
Okay. 7.1. Receive and consider resolution approving the liquor license application of 236 East Lincoln Highway, LLC, DBA Andrea's Jazz Cafe.
I make that motion.
I'll
Second.
second.
Are there any questions or comments regarding 7.1? Full council, please.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Absolutely.
6-0 carries.
Okay, y'all, we're going to Andrea's Jazz Cafe when it opens.
Yes, we
Congratulations,
are.
guys.
wait.
Congratulations.
Can't wait.
Listen,
Yeah. That's gonna
we're
be
gonna
awesome.
hold a
You have a
after
special council night there, right?
That's what I'm saying, after
Yeah.
council meeting night. We're gonna have a
Absolutely.
ball.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
bring my
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring my tambourine.
That's
Ooh,
all right.
Lord.
Tambourines play music.
Yes, it does.
They do.
We so look forward to it. And thank you guys so much for your support. And we
You're
just
welcome.
can't wait to see you there and to
Thank
celebrate
you.
with us. Yes.
Congratulations. Yep.
Congratulations, and may God bless you
Absolutely.
with it.
Thank you so much. God bless you all.
The city's
God bless
better
you all.
for it.
Yes.
Okay, 7.2. Receive and consider a motion to accept the transfer of $200,000 in grant monies from MCDC to the city of Coatesville to be used for a water feature project.
I make that motion. Carmen, and I guess you'll
Green,
second.
and I have Councilwoman Green and Councilwoman Alameen. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Logan, would you expound, please, for the public's edification?
Sure, I'd be happy to. This particular letter of transfer is it's a generous donation from the Movement Community Development Corporation, known as MCDC. Its chairperson, Mr. Alphonse Nuswan, and members of the MCDC organization had an opportunity to enter into a grant agreement with the Keystone Center for Community Enhancement. They were awarded, with the assistance of Senator Denneman, a grant in the amount of $200,000 to go into the Ash Park redesign for a water feature. For many years, as you all know, that MCDC has been raising money for a pool in Ash Park, and they have been doing some heavy lifting for a number of years in partnership with the city. The feasibility study for Ash Park continues. One aspect of that feasibility study came back with a change in the pool, or from a pool to coming up with a water feature for the park. So this particular grant, as I mentioned, was awarded to MCDC. They are transferring the grant over to the city of Coatesville to become the management and the recipient of the $200,000 that will go toward a water feature in Ash Park. So we're very excited to have this opportunity to accept it. And again, just want to thank all the members of MCDC and its chairperson, Fonz, as we call him, for all of his support and generosity from the organization.
Thank you, sir. Do I have any questions or comments from council? Seeing as there's none, poll council, please.
Councilwoman Green,
She's muted.
You're muted, Carmen.
come back. Councilperson Graves,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green's back.
Yes.
thank you. Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes.
6-0 carries. Thank you.
Thank you. On to 7.3, which was added. And that's to consider a motion to approve the second reenactment of the Emergency Declaration Ordinance 1541-2020 to extend the declaration for an additional 30 days or until March 10th, 2021. Could I get a motion?
I make that motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I
Who
didn't
made the
need it.
motion?
I make that motion. Do you hear me?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I second. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Questions or comments? Poll council, please.
Sorry, I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
I didn't unmute my mic quick enough. Mr. Logan, could you read a summary of the emergency declaration?
Sure, I can read it, but I think if, when you say summary, I probably wouldn't be able to summarize it as eloquently as our solicitor. So Anthony, do you mind if you summarize this for us? 'Cause I'll be here all night reading it.
Well, I think that, Ms. Graves, if I might, I think that if I could just read the key provisions, would that be helpful?
Yes, perfect. Because this is our second time renewing it and we're kind of a little bit removed from the first time we made it, it was just good for public to read the provision, whatever it is that makes it understandable and, legible for the public.
Thank you. The key provisions for the public are as follows. All assemblies or gatherings of more than 4 unrelated persons other than police, fire, or rescue personnel upon public streets, in public parks, or any other public place are prohibited. All persons standing, walking, or otherwise located in any public street, public park, or other public place in the city of Coatesville shall wear a face covering as directed by and subject to the limited exceptions set forth in the order of the Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Health effective November 18, 2020. Those are the two key elements of the emergency declaration: wearing of face coverings, and limitations on gatherings. And those provisions are subject to enforcement by the Coatesville Police Department. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Oh, okay, Mr. Verwey. I guess this is for council. It probably would have belonged in discussion, but since we didn't read it in discussion, it's here now. What are the numbers for the governor, and can we amend this to fit the governor's numbers for people gathering?
The governor's numbers, or actually the Commonwealth's numbers, are groups of 25, I believe, inside and up to 100 outside. Mr. Logan, is that correct?
I think that is correct, but I can confirm that for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is correct.
So that's
25 and 100 mask and social distance.
Of course.
So That would mean if somebody had a party outside, they could have 100 people present. Am I understanding that correct?
That's correct.
And they would have to wear a mask.
Me personally, I think that number is too high. That's just me, though.
I would like to say that I'm encouraged of the fact that the numbers are going down. But I think the numbers are going down because of the precautions that have been put in place. So I would like to see us stay with the numbers and follow what we have in place for at least another 30 days to see if it helps to continue to bring the numbers down before we consider trying to raise the numbers. And then in raising, you have the ability to, of course, start increasing numbers, especially with this new variant of COVID on the rise. I just think that because I think where we make our mistake, and even as far as the statewide, as soon as we see the numbers start, going down, then we want to make changes, as opposed to saying, hey, the numbers are going down because we are doing these things. So
Right.
I would like to see us keep it as is, 4, no more than 4, and they have to be family members. And then, of course, for the inside gatherings, no more than the 25 like we have now, at least for another 30 days.
I agree. I think lifting the restrictions too soon. As soon as that happens, then the numbers start to go back up. And if you look at the dashboard, not as many tests are being done as were done before. And so I think we need to keep it how we have it so that we can continue to keep control of this, because our numbers, even though they're not going up as much as they were before, they still do continue to go up every day.
Yes.
I'm a
And
little
we already
confused. I
have
thought that's
people
what we
that
were doing.
gather outside and they're not wearing masks. Mr. Simpson addressed that. And so I too think we should keep it in place for another 30 days.
That is what we had talked about doing.
I'm confused. I thought that's what we were doing. Was it
Mhm.
was just renewing what we already had? Okay.
I thought that's what we were doing too.
Yeah, but
We
we're
are.
going
That's
through
what
all
we-
this discussion. It's late.
Yeah.
Well, I brought up my point because Councilwoman Graves had mentioned about going along with the numbers that the governor has set forth. So
I thought that's what it was already, Ms. Hunt. That's why I said it.
Yeah. So, but
I thought that's what we already had in the declaration already. That's why I said it.
okay.
I'm all for maintaining the status quo with the declaration. But at the same time, not just here in the city, not just in the county, but for the most part, the numbers seem to be slowing down. And that's encouraging, but we don't want to take those numbers slowing down for granted.
Exactly.
Yep,
And
that's
get
right.
act off freely and stuff. So I think us maintaining this for another 30 days will kind of keep us ahead of the curve a little bit.
Yeah. I agree.
Any other questions or comments regarding this? Poll council, please.
Councilman Foltz,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes.
Thank you. 6-0 carries.
Can I get a motion to close?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Questions or comments? Poll council, please.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Foltz,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lebanon Norris.
Yes.
6-0 carries.
Thank you, sir. Well, we're on to our report. Mr. Verway, if you would, please.
Madam President, I will be brief. Since our last meeting, I've worked on land development issues related to property on Merchant Street. I've worked on an economic liquor license application, which was addressed this evening. Worked on an emergency declaration ordinance, which is also addressed this evening. And I worked on real estate issues related to city properties with regard to both easement rights and other interests. Unless there are any questions, that is my report.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from council? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Houston?
Thank you, Madam President. For the Assistant City Manager's report, I'm going to start with the COVID update since we just got done talking about it as far as our declaration. The county remains in phase 1A, which is 65 and over, as well as ages 16 to 65 who have health issues. It's also our healthcare workers and long-term care residents and workers. It is estimated there are 154,000 eligible residents in 1A category. To date, the county has requested 41,000 doses, but has only received 18,700 doses to date. 12,200 doses have been administered, and 2,000 of them were including the second dose. Total vaccines provided by all Chester County partners, and this comes from Commissioner Maxwell's Facebook page, so not necessarily an official document, but is from the commissioner. 24,768 first doses, 6,569 second doses. That is all Chester County partners. That is including 25 to 30 private partners, including the CVS's, Walgreens, and other locations that are giving the vaccines out, according to Commissioner Maxwell. Coatesville specific, we now have 874 positive cases, an increase of 55 over our last meeting 2 weeks ago. And according to the county statistics, we have 11 deaths, up from 7. There are, I think, 1 or 2 that are contested as far as where the locations were, but the official document today says 11 deaths in Coatesville proper. Some activity going on within the community. The fire department, we had 5 callouts this week, 2 for fires, 3 for malfunctioning alarms. While we visited those alarms, we found there were several code violations and the landlords have been given warnings and will be checked for correction. Engine 431 was involved in a hit and run accident after the last snowstorm. It is minor damage and the engine is still in service without a problem. And ladder 41-1 was in repair due to a bad starter. In public works, you know the guys have been working hard the last week and a half. Last week's snowstorm resulted in 3 days, about 52 hours straight over that period of time. We used over 80 tons of salt in addition to the plowing operations. There was some ticketing along the emergency snow routes that were performed by the police department. That was after, however, they did do some door-to-door warnings to move cars from the snow route. I want to thank a number of churches over on the east end who allowed their parking lots to be used for residents to get their cars off the roads. In talking with those churches, they indicated that that is a pleasure for them to let the people come into the parking lots for that period of time. So it's a great little partnership with some of our local churches.
Absolutely.
This past weekend, the crew was in early on Sunday. You know, the surprise 3 to 4 inches became almost 8 inches. So they came in to get ahead of the recent event. Luckily, it was a much shorter duration, only lasted maybe 12 hours. Again, a lot of salt was used. We're waiting for a new delivery to come in, hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday. They also did help out at the Benner building to support the Urban Outfitters job fair this past weekend. Because it was a joint event with the city and Urban, we told our guys to come over and help Mr. Logan out. He was over there for both days. The forecast for this week, It looks pretty ugly, I guess, if you want to call it that. Maybe 1 to 2 inches every day for the next 3 days. So it could be very interesting. It's not a plowable snow, but certainly might be a salting snow. So we'll keep an eye on where we're going on the weather forecast. In the codes department, with the promotion of Mr. Dobson to fire chief, we're making sure things are going well here, trying to make that adjustment to having Mr. Dobson now serving 2 masters, if you will. In addition to a new staff person, we brought on Mary Kyle, who will help in the office, but also take on inspections throughout the city. Mary is a city resident. She lives in Councilwoman Hunt's ward and comes with a strong background in the legal field as a paralegal and legal assistant for the last 30 years. We have some catch-ups on inspections. We had a couple of fire inspections this past week. We processed 23 rental licenses, 2 vacant property registrations, 208 rental inspections, which is where we're trying to catch up. If you didn't know, we have a license for amusement games, video games, poker games. 15 licenses were issued this week. And to end my report on a light note, because I know it's been a long night, we got a call this morning from a concerned citizen regarding a goat living in the West End. As you may know, sorry, farm animals are not permitted in the city limits. So we sent codes out. Yes, they verified there is a goat living in the West End. No one answered the door, but the premises was served notice, and we will follow up. Yes, we have a goat living on the West End in violation of codes. So we'll work on that one. I had to end my report on a light note. It's been a long one. So
Was that goat at Ed Simpson's house?
I'm not making any comment, Councilman Close. I'm not making a comment.
Where's the butcher? I love goat meat. Where is the butcher?
Councilwoman Alameen, you know, I know there are cultures that enjoy goat meat, so I'm not going to go there either. If we stop hearing the noise of the goat, we know what happened. I think it either got moved or.
Curry goat
You
is
see the goat when you were there?
I just want to let you know, okay? You know, we had a goat in the city, so.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you. That's my report for the evening.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
report.
Listen,
Thank you.
full disclosure.
Thanks,
I
Chip.
totally, thank you, Chip. I'm sorry. But in full disclosure, y'all, I took Mr. Logan, my
What?
apology. I've been doing a lot of apologizing. Y'all got to pray for me. Like my mind is slipping a little bit. However, I'm still here.
Hopefully I didn't steal anything from Mr. Logan. I'm sorry.
No, we're good.
You know what? I totally skipped over the manager's report. So please report, sir.
All right, thank you very much. And now I will be brief. Just a few items on the business and economic development side. We have 3 items just to remind everyone we're still in progress. The first one is the 3082 realignment construction scheduled to resume in the spring, as I mentioned in the last meeting. So that continues, as well as the box beam work on 82. Certainly with the snow being the way it is, not much is being done in both of those areas, but as soon as the weather breaks, PennDOT will resume work on the box beam work on the 82. Also in progress is construction bids for the train station itself. We are anticipating the bid packets to go out this month, and again to set construction later this year. So we're excited about that. Also in progress is the Cedarville Engineering. Our contractor has received multiple bids for the Coatesville Historic Train Station exterior improvements. They are in the process of reviewing and selecting, and the selection process is being conducted as we speak. The most exciting thing that happened this weekend, in spite of the snow, many of you are aware of, was the Urban Outfitters hiring event, which was held at the Benner Building, 545 East Lincoln Highway. We had a tremendous turnout, and I just want to say thank you to all of our council members, those that were here, and one in particular was out of town traveling, Mrs. Hunt. We had a great time in your ward, and I know that you and Mr. Folks have a few comments, but I just want to say that, you know, The folks that came out this past weekend, all of the commissioners from our county, Representative Williams was there. We had a number of our local residents and I should say ready for primetime players. It was just a real nice supportive event, and that there's a lot of names that, it's late. I can't even run them off, but you all know who you are. I appreciate your support. Urban Outfitters appreciate your support. And I'm going to let Mr. Folks, I think Mr. Folks and Mrs. Hunt, you guys have some numbers that you can share with us, and I'll turn it over to you both.
Yeah. First of all, this is Mrs. Hunt's ward, and if you don't know, she had lost her brother, and she was down south. But she called in on Saturday to see how it was going. So to represent her ward over death, she still took time out to come here to call to see what was going on. I'm not going to be long. I wish I had more time. It's late. But overall, it was a success. They did, in the 2 days, they took in 89 applications and they hired 80 on the spot.
Awesome.
It was so awesome down there. I love Coatesville and I love the residents.
Yes.
One of the stories was, I'm off of welfare.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
One of the other stories was, I can buy food for my family.
My God.
So that's what the residents was giving us and thanking us for having that. So I'm not going to go on because it's so late, but next meeting I will tell you more. And I want to thank the school district, James Bookman, for coming out. I want to thank the YWCA for the head to come out. I want to thank Miss Graves for stopping by. So Chip was there. So we are coming together. If you like it or not, the train is coming. So if you want to stay on the tracks, you're going to get ran over. But the train is coming. Thank you. Ms. Hunt.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Folk. Your choice of words are always amazing, but on point. Thank you. I am going to be brief, and I will consider these as my council comments, so I don't have to speak again tonight. I just want to thank, first of all, Mr. Logan, for the work, the effort, the energy that you put into providing and making things happen for our city. We are ever so grateful for all that you do, and I don't ever want that to go unnoticed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I know you have a working team, but the leader often trickles down, and that shows you the outcome. When the people working with you and for you have confidence in you, it makes it that much easier to get the job done. So I'm not going to echo the numbers. Mr. Folks gave those to you, but I do want to thank all of you, and I'm just excited for those people that have gained employment through this job fair. And I want to thank all of my colleagues for your love, for your support, for the beautiful floral arrangements that you sent in acknowledging the passing of my oldest brother. So I do thank you for all of your prayers, and I just pray that we continue to work together as a council so that we can keep moving things along. Chip, thank you so much for your report, and that will be considered as my comments for tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Hunt. And to conclude my report, I just want to let everyone know who's listening, the Urban Outfitter team, they're still working on inputting applications into the system. We should have a final count, including the online applications this week. Today was the first official start of orientation for many of those individuals that received the job. The shuttle service started thanks to Tim Phelps and his team over at TMAC and PennDOT for bringing this together. So the first shuttle was this morning at 5 in the morning. That was for shift 1. followed later by the second shift, which left Coatesville around 3 p.m. this afternoon. There were approximately 29 bus reservations to start this week, and some applicants, of course, they decided to drive up to Gap themselves. But all in all, this was a great start for what we hope is a good relationship with Urban. And if I can just add one last thing to this, for those individuals that didn't get a chance to come out, you still can apply for the jobs. Just go online to careers, or it's Urban or UBN careers.com, and you can still submit an application. There's still plenty of jobs. And the nice thing about this is you got free shuttle service for 1 year. And once you get all that information, they'll link you to the shuttle service hours. But you can't beat transportation for 1 year. So again, thank you for your support. Thanks everyone for coming out. And that's all I have. There was a few things I wanted to talk about our real estate and solid waste taxes, and reminders have gone out to our homeowners. But again, it's getting late, and we'll cut it short because we have the police chief with his report. So thank you all and have a great night.
Thank you, sir. Chief Lawford?
You're muted, Chief. You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I'll keep this brief, given the late hour as everybody else has commented, but we responded to 1,429 Chester County 911 Center calls for January of this year, along with 2,306 general calls for service from the police department and our phones here on station. In addition, the rest of the statistics are included in your packets for additional statistical analysis. But just a few brief notes here. We had 2 Narcan saves administered by the police department. We had 6 car seat installations for 5 seats provided by the Coatesville Police Department's car seat donation program, and then 1 that was installed through our seatbelt technicians that was provided by the owner itself. We also participated in our annual MLK Day of Service, where we do a sort of a tire and TV cleanup for the city. This is something that we started back about 6 or 7 years ago. There's a strong connection between trash and crime. Trash breeds crime is one of the sayings. So a while ago, we identified a need for the police department to get involved, and we thought, what better way to do it than on MLK Day? So we've been doing that for about the last 7 or 8 years. We repurposed an old tandem axle trailer from Public Works that was in disrepair. We got solicited donations, got it totally refurbed and back in service and state inspected, and we've been using that ever since to go around the city and do cleanups. And the great thing about this year's cleanup was what a difference this year was in regard to past years. Now, some of that's a credit to our Public Works guys that are out there, doing the job every day. And when they see it, they're picking it up. But I think some of it also is maybe a change in hopefully the way the residents are viewing the city, and viewing and taking pride in what's happening here in the city. Because this year we had to scrounge around to find tires and TVs to collect, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
So we were heartened by that, and we're excited by it, and we'll still stay on top of it. But I think we have turned a corner here with regard to at least that issue, and we strongly do believe that it does tie into the crime also. Because if you take pride in your neighborhood, then chances are you're not going to tolerate crime in a neighborhood either. So we're excited about what we saw for this year. And that's all I have tonight, unless anybody else has any other questions.
Thank you so much, Chief. Okay, we're on to our citizens' hearings on non-agenda items. Are there any? comments on there from our citizens?
No.
Okay. Thank you much. Can I get a motion to close that?
Make that motion.
A second.
Questions, comments? Oh, council, please.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt.
He had to go.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I meant to.
Excuse me. Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes.
5-0 carries.
Okay, no special events. So I'm sorry.
No, there are none.
So we're on to our wonderful council comments. And seeing as though Mr. Simpson's gone and excuse me, Mr. Folks already made his comments. So now we're on to you, Councilperson Graves.
Thank you and good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming to our meeting. Thank you all who are watching and commenting along on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you to everybody who's going to rewatch this meeting when it's not live. Yeah, and in honor of Black History Month, I just wanted to do a reading from Assata Shakur. This is the 20th, and she's one of our ancestors who was an activist and a pivotal person in the civil rights movement, for those who do not know Assata Shakur. This is the 21st century, and we need to redefine our evolution. This planet needs a people's our evolution, humanitarians our evolution. Our evolution is not about bloodshed or going to the mountains and fighting. We will fight if we are forced to, but the fundamental goal of our evolution must be peace. We need our evolution of the mind. We need our evolution of the heart. We need our evolution of the spirit. We need the power that is the strongest and a power that's stronger than any weapon. A people's our evolution cannot be stopped. We need to be weapons of mass construction, weapons of mass love. It is not just enough to change the system. We need to change ourselves. We have got to make this world user-friendly. Are you ready to sacrifice the end of hunger? Are you ready to sacrifice the end of colonialism, the end of neocolonialism, the end of racism, the end of sexism? Our evolution means the end of exploitation. Our evolution means respecting people from other cultures. Our evolution is creative. Our evolution means treating your mate as a friend and as an equal. Our evolution is sexy. Our evolution means respecting and learning from your children. Our evolution is beautiful. Our evolution means protecting the people, the plants, the animals, the air. Our evolution means saving this planet. Our evolution is love. And once again, that is from Assata Shakur, an activist who was pivotal during the civil rights movement. Yeah, and so I leave you with that. Happy Black History Month, and thank you for all who participated in our job fair. It happened in me, Councilwoman Hunt and Councilwoman Alameen's ward, and I went, and the person I was with got the job, so that was amazing, and it sounds like a great opportunity for folks to take advantage of it. So thank you all for participating in that with us, and have a great weekend and a great work week.
Thank you. Councilwoman Alameen.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out, all those that attended via Zoom, all those that are on YouTube. Congratulations again, Mr. Dantzler. I look so forward to your ribbon cutting. I'm so grateful that you decided to open your business, have your business in Coatesville, being a resident of Coatesville, but I so appreciate that you picked here to give back to the residents. So again, I really look forward to your ribbon cutting so I can attend that. So thank you again. And I just wanted to address something really quick because in the last 6 months, I've been getting a lot of calls from residents, and I just want the residents to understand how things work. So when it comes to the police department, council does not oversee the police department. The officers answer to the chief, and the chief answers to Mr. Logan and Mr. Houston. So when a resident calls myself or any other council member from a particular ward or myself and Mix Graves as covering the entire city, that does not constitute a complaint. So if you have an issue with a police officer or with the chief, you have to file a complaint. And then it'll be investigated, and then it goes to the civil service. And then if there's an appeal, it comes to council. And when you file your complaint, you should make sure that all members of council get a copy of that complaint. Because if you don't formally file a complaint, calling a council member doesn't put anything on the record. It doesn't make it become a complaint. There is a protocol to file. And so I just want to make sure that the residents understand that. Although I'm always happy to take any call from any resident in the city, I just want them to understand that there is a protocol for that. And again, I just want to thank everybody that came tonight. I hope everybody stays safe this week. Please continue to wear your mask and social distance. For those that are looking for vaccines, you can apply on the county website, the drugstores, certain drugstores, Rite Aid here in town, Rite Aid at Airport Plaza, Walgreens, CVS, but you have to go to their particular site and register. So the county did not get as many doses as they anticipated, but for those that are desiring to get it, please don't give up. You know, please continue to go to the sites and register because folks are getting it. I know a couple people that got it at Airport Plaza. So just please continue to be diligent in trying to register. Happy Black History Month to everybody. And I hope with all the snow and stuff that we're supposed to get, my understanding, more a nuisance than anything, but everybody please stay safe and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Green?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. A lot was discussed tonight. I'm excited for Mr. Dantzler and looking forward to his club. Wishing it to be a great success in the city and the start of many more good things. I'm excited to Mike Killinger spark some interest. I can't wait to talk to them more and set up some town halls for the residents. I think in hearing it on the call, I don't want anyone to get alarmed. You know, like he said, this is just the beginning stages. And because Mike has worked with us on many projects, I think that's why, like Mr. Logan said, that he just wanted to come and present the idea, even though the developer could not be here. I don't think that the developer not being here is saying, is not saying something. So I'm just excited for everything that is going on. And I'm glad everybody made it through the storm, through the snow, and just get prepared for Thursday for more snow. And just take care and have a great night.
Thank you. I want to echo my colleagues in my appreciation. I want to say congratulations to all the officers that were sworn in this evening. I also want to acknowledge Fawn. I want to do it because Fonz has been working diligently to promote and support the city, and he has several different outlets. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you and let him know that his work isn't going unnoticed, and it definitely isn't unappreciated. Thank you so much for all you're doing for our community.
Yes, 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 yes. yes.
Also regarding Urban Outfitters, thank you for having our community on the move. This is awesome. And to my colleagues and Mr. Logan, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't be there, unfortunately, but if I were able, I would have loved to have been there. That was awesome. That whole event was awesome. And to the ones that were hired, congratulations. God bless you. Be encouraged and grow. Thank you for coming out, stepping up. To all the dignitaries that came out, thank you. We appreciate you. And this only allows us to our relationships with you to bond the more. So thank you all for coming out. Mike Phelps, thanks. Thanks for ensuring, along with the rest, with everyone else that worked on this event, that the applicants, the new hires, could get back and forth to work without stressing about getting there. Urban Outfitters, you're amazing. You're amazing. Thank you. Mr. Dantzler, I'm coming to Andrea's Jazz Cafe the day it opens. COVID or not, I'll be there.
We'll be looking for you.
All of you.
All of you.
You know,
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I just want I've been thinking on the lines of change, always wanting things to change, and change is good, but we also have to acknowledge that if God doesn't change your situation, He'll change you.
Right.
So take your time. Be careful what you ask for. Know that you know before you step out. Everybody, be blessed. Thank you so much for your attendance. And stay safe. Wear your mask. Socially distance. And do not lose the thought of washing your hands or carrying your hand sanitizer. We want you to enjoy the fruits of all of our labor. So stay safe and stay well. Could I get a motion for close?
I'll make
that motion.
Second.
Full council, please.
Mr. Logan, you're muted.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
thank you. Councilperson
I'm
Graves,
sorry, I'm in the car.
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Absolutely.
5-0 carries. Thank you.
God bless you all.
Good night.
Be safe.
Good evening,
Have the best night.
Hi, everybody.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it's 10:20.
Yeah. Get